Have you killed Yash Kapoor?
So, hi Sandeepa, how are you doing?
Hi, Mahima. I'm good. How are you?
Great. First of all, congratulations. Your web series is getting a lot of love from the audiences. They are loving you.
Thank you so much. So glad.
So now, while we know that the audience is loving you, we want to know what was your reaction when you were offered this role of a psychiatrist?
Well, when I read the script, I think I'd finished reading the script at some 12:30 in the night. I'd read the first three episodes, which Vikram had sent to me. And at 12:30 in the night, I decided to call up Vikram and I told him that, listen, I'm on for this. I'm going to do this. Don't you dare offer it to anybody else. And that's how it kind of went. Because I felt like the role is such an amazing role for any actor that I would have given my arm and legs and everything to do the part. So I was super excited about it. I was nervous but excited about it as well.
So, how did it come your way, the web series?
So Vikram and I had been, wanting to do something together for quite some time. He had offered me stuff in between, but it didn't work out for different reasons. And I was also waiting to do something with him because, he's very good with writing women characters. He writes them in a very layered, complex manner. So I was waiting for him to write something in which, the protagonist has like a nice, meaty part. And so very randomly in one of our phone conversations, he had mentioned, very faintly, he had mentioned the concept of Bisaat. And I had liked the concept. So I had, at that time, he was shooting for something else back then. And I had told him, if you'd ever develop it, then you please, let me know. I would like to read it. And he had said, yeah, I will. And there was radio silence for about 4 or 5 months because he was busy shooting for other things. And about almost 5 6 months later, he emailed me the first three episodes, and he called me up and he said that I've sent you these three episodes. Read it and see if you would be interested in doing it. And I was like, okay. And I started reading it, and back then there were 1 hour episodes. Now it's changed. It's half an hour. So they were like, usually what happens is that you read one episode, then you'll take a break, then you'll come back to the second episode, then take a break. I started reading it at 10:30 and I finished it at 12:30 because it was such a breezy read, and I wrote like it was. As an audience, I was reading it, and I wanted to know what happens next, and exactly what people who watched the first episode are exactly saying the same thing, that they want to know what happens next. Is she the killer? Is she not the killer? What is happening in this entire thing? That's how it kind of happened. I called him up at 12:30 in the night, and I was like, "Listen, I need to do this." And he's like, "It's 12:30 in the night, Sandeepa. Do you realize that?" I was like, "Yeah, I know, but I didn't. I was really excited about it, and I wanted to tell you this, that I want to do this, and don't offer it to anybody else." He said, "Yes, I won't offer it to anybody else. Let me go back to sleep." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I slept very peacefully, knowing that I'm doing the part.
So the trailer had a similar effect on the audience. I mean, we were all thinking, has she killed him? Has she not killed him? What is the deal here?
Right.
So how did you prepare for Dr. Kiana's character?
A lot of prep, of course, because I had no knowledge whatsoever about psychiatrists. I had not visited one. I didn't know one. Nobody in my immediate circle is one. I have doctor friends, but I don't have any psychiatry friends. So I obviously had to touch base with a lot of them before, when I prepped. So I met a lot of them, spent about 2 months prepping for it, wherein I tried and understand the medical jargons, the medical terms. That was very, very important as a doctor to know. I also needed to study how they are in their professional lives and how different are they in their personal lives, because they deal with the mind. It's not like any other doctor it's not like they can run a test and tell you what your problem is. So they're constantly analyzing people. That's how they are. So I wanted to know if that professional behavior somehow, gets carried on in their personal lives as well. Are they analyzing people in their real lives as well? I mean, these were some of the basic questions that I had, which I had to obviously spend time with them and understand that, which I did. And I also spent a lot of time discussing the role with with Vikram, because he's also written it, right? So he was my best. He was the best person to discuss this entire thing with, because he knows the world inside out, which was very helpful, of course. And then we, sat down and broke it down, how, because Kiana is very different from Sandeepa. So I had to really break down everything. From, I had to change the way I talk, I had to change the way my energy is, all of that, because Kiana is far more mellow and mature and hera wali ladki. It's not the bubbly Sandeepa. So I had to change all of that. So of course that prep was alag. But yeah, it all happened.
So Kiana and Sandeepa are very different. But in an earlier interview, you mentioned that there's a lot of Vikram in Kiana.
Yes.
So what exactly did you mean by that? Because I read that and I was like really intrigued to know what that meant.
The thing is, I think the thing with Vikram is that he writes characters out of his own experience. So everything that everything that he puts in is somewhere, that's something that he's gone through at some point in his life, and hence it feels real, because he doesn't write out of imagination, he writes out of personal experience. So there's a lot of characteristics of Kiana which are very innate to, or very similar to Vikram. Like the way Kiana talks is a lot like how Vikram talks.
Wow.
In real life. He's a very like a calm, collected, hera wala insan. So the way he talks, so I took that from him as well. Like I took that aspect of him. Even the way he, the emotional quotient of Kiana is a lot like how Vikram is in his real life. I feel like he's made a woman version of himself and written it in Bisaat. Because a lot of stories that, a lot of times when we were doing scenes, and in order for Omkar and me, that the dynamic of a husband and wife and the friction between the two and the trouble between the two, he would give me examples of his past relationships, real instances. And he's very open about it. He doesn't shy from talking about his personal life and sharing his experiences with you. And that's when I know that there's so much of Kiana in him, because he's lived a lot of those emotions in his real life.
So all in all, how was your experience of working with Vikram and Omkar?
Fab, yeah. I mean, Vikram's definitely the best one who's directed me amazingly. I think he's gotten a performance out of me which is solid. I mean, all those people who've been, messaging me, calling me, and telling me that they've liked my performance is only because of him, because he's written a character so amazingly well, and he's directed me so beautifully in it. And he has a knack of working with actors, which is fabulous. I think that there is a reason why he is Vikram Bhatt, and he comes with a lot of experience. And I'm so glad that I got to work with him early on in my career. And so he's been amazing. He's taught me so much. In fact, I was really scared that I don't know if I would be able to pull this off, because I was so different from Kiana. But in fact, it was his faith which kind of reassured me. He said, don't worry, I'm there. We'll do this together. Don't worry. So I think, yeah. So that's fun. Omkar, of course, I've known Omkar before we started shooting. We've been friends. So it was easy to work with him. He's a very chilled out, easy guy and a fab actor. So it's always nice to have a solid actor as your partner, or someone that you're collaborating with, because then your performance also becomes better, because the सामने वाले का performance जब अच्छा होता है तो आपका भी automatically थोड़ा better हो जाता है. So it was nice to have that, because again the track of Abhijit and Kiana is very complex in the series. There's so much underlayer, there's so much baggage and all of that for us to not because again Vikram has written it so beautifully that as actors it's a responsibility to justify that to the T. And I couldn't have asked for a better co-star than Omkar to do this with.
That's so sweet.
So good.
Sandeepa, what's the best compliment that you've received for your performance?
I know a lot of people felt like they felt this is a certain breakdown that happens towards the end of episode, towards the end of the series.
Mhm.
And I've gotten a lot of compliments for that specifically because they said that um, they felt the pain that Kiana has like through and through felt by that by that point in her life, and I felt because also I've done a lot of emotional scenes in the series, and I've not used glycerine, so I've put myself into all those difficult situations and had to put myself psych myself really in order to feel that and to cry the way that I've cried. So I felt that like the vindication होता है ना कि जो at least जो इतनी मेहनत करी that in that scene particularly because it is such a heavy breakdown scene that I really had to prep for it and stuff like that, and people have written to me and saying that a lot of in fact a lot of men in fact have really liked Kiana's journey through it, because as actual women I understand that they will like it because it is an emotional character and all of that, but for men to like it was a bit of a surprise for me, to be honest. But a lot of men have said that they've liked that scene and they've really felt connected to the character, and I thought that for me is a big win as an actor.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So before taking your leave, I have to ask one very important question. As this was a murder mystery, and I mean, you just imagine for it all to be serious on the sets. How was the Vatavaran of the sets?
To be honest, when I think about it now, we shot for this for 50 days. And for me, they were the most emotionally draining, heavy days of my life. All I remember is going through some very, very tough days wherein I've been very tired. But one thing that was there was in between, like a lot, most of the times I couldn't break from the emotions. Like it's not a set where we were playing pranks with each other, and it wasn't that because I couldn't break from the character that I have. But it was a very calm set because Vikram doesn't get angry. He's a very like a chilled out, easy guy. So very it was a very nice vibe on set because between like if my shots they were far away from each other kind of a thing, then I would, and again Vikram has a great sense of humor, so I would be constantly laughing because he cracks the jokes with the most serious faces, and I think nobody else understands them, so you'll hear me giggling throughout. She keeps she just keeps saying, what are you giggling about so much? So I was like, making me cry so much on screen, at least let me laugh a little bit off screen. So it was a fun, nice environment to work in, and it was nice to also work with people that are very easy. Like there's no drama, there is no there's no cat fights happening, there's no stress. None of those things. We had so many women on set because a lot of secondary cast is a lot of girls. And it was nice to have so many women around because you chat with them, so it's easier. No hassles, no ego hassles. Nobody was fighting for makeup and nobody was fighting for vans and all of that. Nobody was fighting कि उसके बाल मेरे से better क्यों है. None of all that. So it was nice.
So it was very opposite of whatever happens in the Big Boss house.
Oh my God, definitely. I don't think I would have been able to do this character and survive something like a Big Boss.
Great. And any other upcoming projects that your fans can look forward to?
Yes, I have 2 series that I'm currently working on. One I finished, which will with the one that with Hotstar, which is a dance-based series, which comes out next month, I think. I think Hotstar will announce it soon enough. And then I'm doing one with Netflix, which is produced by Clean Slate Productions, which is Anushka Sharma's production house. And yeah, these are the 2 series that I'm working on currently.
Great. All the very best. Can't wait to see you on screen again.
Thank you.
And thank you for this very, very lovely chat.
It was fun chatting with you, Mahima, and take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good luck. Bye bye.
Bye bye. See you.